How are we, everyone? Yep. I'll start by quickly introducing myself. My name is Joseph Mourtada. I'm a property consultant and a strategist. I'm also a qualified CPA accountant. Have 19 years experience in investment banking. Actually, I started in investment banking and then in taxation, public practice, and then I was teaching accounting at university and colleges. I ran my own business for a few years, and then I found that property is my passion and is the way to go. So what I do now is I do it purely for passion, and I love helping clients accumulate. I did help clients accumulating portfolio of properties. It's at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And that's when the accounting background helps and the taxation. I will be sharing lots of valuable information with you today. And more to come. We're running this event with full support of Arab Media, Oz Arab Media. Special thanks for them. Their team is here on the grounds with us. Special thanks to Charbel, Christine, and Joseph. And I think we're running live now on Oz Arab Media. Thank you very much, guys, for your support. Today we're running a competition to win this Google Nest Hub. So it's a very nice gadget to have at your home. And Shabir was just telling me that Oz Arab Media now is live on radio, and they have an app that you can install and you can listen to them live as well. Feel free to scan this barcode. Just a few questions, just a handful of questions of a survey that you need to fill up, and you straight away you go in the draw, and we're going to do the draw at the end of this presentation. So the lucky winner will get this, and we'll have some other prizes as well. And that's thanking you for making the time for this event today. This is our agenda today. I will start by company introduction, and then rental crisis impact. Maybe most of us heard about what's happening in the rental market currently. It's crazy. My wife is here, and she works in property management, and she knows how she goes. Every time she comes home, she tells me how crazy it is. We receive 30 applications on this single property, 40 applications. It's just mad. It's crazy. Property investors' tax benefits, negative gearing. I'm going to run into an example with you today just to show you the power of negative gearing. Interest rates impact on the property market. Best time to buy. Have we reached the bottom of the market yet? I'm going to tell you today. 2023 top 3 booming suburbs. I'm going to reveal them today for you. First home buyers grant guide. I'm going to do a summary for you. Rent and invest strategy. There are many strategies in property investing. Maybe you know one or two, but there are so many. We're going to cover a few of them today. And for more details, I'm happy also to do a private consultation, free private consultation. And now I do all my consultations for free. I used to charge, not anymore.
Too much to say.
Yes, a bit of housekeeping in the beginning. This is not a financial product advice. Please consult your financial advisor, solicitor, accountant, and other professional advisor if necessary. I'm going to hand over for a little bit to my work colleague, Anna. I must say, there's no words that can describe this person. I'm lucky actually to meet Anna. We work together, and we have a synergy. We work on the same level, on the same page. Very sincere, very caring, very lovely person to work with. So she will be introducing Megawork Company to you, and then I will take over. Over to you, Anna.
Thank you. I see quite a few familiar faces. Yeah, I met in the Arabic season. Yes, yeah. Thank you for coming, spend the time. And in Chinese, we have a saying, significant life change happens only when you meet the right people at your right time and in the right place. So I'm pretty sure, because I believe in good karma. People connect with the vibe. When we have the right vibe, we connect. And one meeting can be like friends forever. Yeah, for people who cannot connect, we can stay in the room for 10 years, we don't know each other. Right? So I can feel the energy. We are really connected. Yeah. So hopefully, with the 2 hours, we can sitting on the couch and comfortably to do some watch. No one watch TV now, right? So on the social media to do something and 2 hours click on. But hopefully the 2 hours we spend here, we can share some insight of the property market, and then we can do assessment and see how we position ourselves in this centennial opportunity. Yeah. So Megawatt. So we are property group. So we are a property group. So this year is our 13th year anniversary. And this is owned by a young couple. They are on the early 40s, Chinese. They came from China and they studied accounting. But when they went to the accounting firm, they said the accountant like the glass like this and still writing the numbers. And then they drive a pretty old Toyota and going home. So they said, I don't want my retired life like this. I need something more. So like what you do now, and they went to the property investment seminar, different seminar, and they start to understand property business. So initially, they do property sale, like a marathon top sale. After doing the sale, they feel like, a sale, you sell some other people's project. You can't control the quality. You don't know what the developer do. Do you know what happens now? A developer. We have a sales and developer. In between, there's a gap. Yeah. So from the sales background, they understand the client needs. Let's say, instead of only sell other people's project, let's build our own. And with our vision and passion, to build. So they start with Bristol. So Bristol is our development. So Bristol actually its motto is creative legacy. So each project built by Bristol from now on will be the benchmark in that area. So we are not going to pursue big numbers, but a very like a well designed, like a proper project in different area. So what we talk about is a home to live, not a box to get in. Yeah. And then under that Bristol, we have Megawatt. So Megawatt has a name called Mega, big, right? It means trillion. Award means, excellence. So from the beginning, day one, the owner already want to achieve excellence in sales, in development, and also we have our working capital. So working capital, we have two areas. So one is in Western Australia, we have 1 million acre petrol farm. We have 10,000 cattle. So we export the beef to overseas. And also this investment products. So 500,000 entry to get 10 to 12% of annual return. But on top of that, we have a development fund. So we have two parts. So one part is for a lot of retired people. They have the super fund, million, 500,000 sitting there, right? Every year, let's say 500,000, 50,000, 10 years, super fund finish, right? 65 to 75. And then we still live another 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So what they do, they have to end up to go to the state. The lifestyle is dramatically go down. So then you can invest in the fund and get the interest, so 70 to 80%, interest. Very, very ordinary because when you get a high interest, there's high risk. We are not the fund company, collect all the money run. We have our development everywhere. We cannot let the people come here to, to claim for their, money. So we are very like a sustainable platform. But at the same time, we have seen some young people here. You want to get a property, but not enough deposit. You know, after the tax, after the expenses, after the rental crazily increasing, so the saving capacity gets lower, and lower, and then you can't get in the market. When you save 3-5 years, the property already 10, 20, 30% increase. So that will leave the young people very, very in diversity. So with the working capital, we do have the passion. So we set up a fund. So let's see, you know, your name? Kevin. Kevin only have 30K or 20K or whatever. But we have a project, so you can put the 20, 30K, and the working fund will fund you with 10% of the property, so you can pay installment for free. I give you 12 months. So we set up this network in the chain of the property. So as a developer, we can get a pre-sale to get a loan and start construction. For buyer, we can fund young people. We are very passionate with the young people. They have to understand property and to be part of the journey. And then we have the megawatt. Yeah. So megawatt, you know, so we do, you know, help a lot of clients. This is what we say. We care more, we do better. That means we aim to build, say, trust team in property industry. Yeah, we are branding ourselves. So anybody, when you see a sale, what do you mean? Dodgy, cheating, right? Talk big, not deliver. So we have to prove we are innocent. So that's our goal. You know, I think the property is so expensive. You know, any friends, relative, or people we are going to know, they deserve a very quality service to be in the market safely and, you know, like with a good result. Yeah. Investment. Yeah. So we have two areas, macro and micro. So for investment, it's about population growth, infrastructure. In Chinese, we say, when the roof comes, money come along, right? So without transport, there's no business. Yeah. So with the employment, you know, when the roof comes, infrastructure comes, employment increase, population increase. So what do we need? A roof. Now we can save money by a $10 shirt, put it on, that's okay. But we can't live on the street. Yeah, so that's part of it. But the megawatt, we are very, very focused on quality. Quality is the key. In the last 10 years, a lot of people are very stuffed with property units because of quality issue, right? So we are very sure. And also with any project, we need to have a very large home ownership. So never ever to invest a project with all investors. You know, moving in and out, they can build a chip and start up with a lot of quality issues. So we believe quality project in locations with exponential growth in population, employment, transport, lifestyle, and environment will be hotspots for extraordinary value increase of residential properties and our Yeah. Okay, I think, you know, because here we are here. Yeah. I think this is a property is to get a job. Yeah. So now we are talking about that. For our country, we always we have to walk there, walk a bit. Okay. Because we have an airport there, take out, go to Beijing, take out. But we also believe for our retirement, when we get a job, get a salary for retirement 20, 30, 40 years, we are walking to the retirement. People cannot retire. Do you believe? Yeah. Get a job after 30 years. People cannot get. It's like we walk into Beijing, cannot. But we need an airplane, a vehicle. For the retirement vehicle, we believe is a property. So property with a vehicle keep us retired, maybe in 10, 20, 30 years. And in that way, Joseph will explain with us how we leverage the money, the rent, and the AQ tax deduction. How many people know exactly how negative is working? Anybody know? We heard negative gearing. Do we know how it works? Yeah, only one know. So we need to do. Joseph will do to all of them. You will be so much astonished after you understand the negative gearing. So every action, we need the detail. When we know the detail, we get take action. Yeah. So here quickly, middle class, right? So this is a very unfortunate group of our society, right? With whatever reason, because they are struggling with their life, right? So we have middle class and rich people. So middle class, we can, what is always like a flash? Maybe the connection. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah. So middle class. So middle class means any employee are middle class. You can have $500,000 income or 1 million executive or 50,000. It doesn't matter. But it does matter. Not this one.
It's all right.
The previous one. Sorry. Yeah. I think that was yours. Not
yeah.
Okay. So let's define this one. The middle class have all the expenses, taxes, mortgage payment, car payment, credit card, and school loan, but we don't have assets. So no matter how much we earn, even 1 million is middle class. Yeah. And then how do we get a rich category? We have income, rental income, dividend, interest, royalty, because we have asset. This asset is money working for us, right? So with this asset, so I can have, I have 50,000. I have a young teacher who only gets 60,000, but he bought a property with 5%, 30,000, 600, and rent it out and get tax deduction. So she already in the rich category because she had asset. Yeah, but I have a friend $500,000 income, paid 45% tax, but still in the middle class category because we don't have this asset, money making money for us. Yeah, so that's the definition. So 90% of the billionaire, is not because they have $1 million, $1 million income, annual income. It's because they have asset. And that asset, like we see the airplane, to take us retirement, because from the 30,000, you borrow 570,000. This asset is 600,000. But who pay the interest? The tenants largely, and plus the ATO. So you may pay $20 per day running this $500,000 property. After 10 years, could be up $500,000. Yeah. So that's we're talking about the the rich and the middle. Yeah. I think I'm good to finish now.
Yep.
Yeah. So now Joseph will continue to give you the more detail about our journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, that's a very nice book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And this is the best page of the book. You read that? Who read this book, the book? Yeah. I read it a couple of times. The first time one.
Because it's hard to understand at the beginning, and you're
Definitely.
like, how does it work?
Definitely. Every time I read it, I look at things differently in life. The first time I read it when I was at uni on a plane, had a long flight, 24-hour flight with connection. So I finished the book the first time, and now I keep reading it and listening to the audiobook. So very advisable I advise you to read this book. Assets never sleep. What do we mean by this? We analyzed the property market in Australia for the last 30, 40 years. We found out on average the property price doubles, the property value doubles every 10 years. That's around 7% per year. Your property makes you money while you're sleeping. It's the easiest way of making money, and let me explain to you how. We buy a property for $750,000. The cost is around 6%, and that's interest and expenses. and that's in red. In the blue is the income that I receive on an investment property. Rental income is around 5%. Capital growth around 7%. The net annual return is $45,000. The property is making me, if I divide 45,000 by 365 days, that's $123 per day. Passive income while I'm sleeping. After 10 years, it will only get better. The property will make me around $370 per day while I'm sleeping. Count 10 more years, 863, 1,850. And the rent always increases, as you know, in Australia. That all starts with a 5% deposit. We have so many ways to get you into property with 5% and sometimes less deposit, sometimes 2%. Rental crisis impact. Have we heard about the rental crisis impact and how is hitting the market very crazily? Have something to share with you. Well, watch this for a little bit. Is that you're
trying to find somewhere to rent in Sydney?
It's brutal. It's horrible. People queuing up to rent a property. That's insane. Who wants to be in that queue?
The rental property market in Sydney. This is a two-bedroom apartment for $800 per week.
It's more
Still
now.
waiting in line, the real estate agent was 30 minutes late. This guy is checking if this is the right property. We gave up and tried to dial the unit number.
Thank you for showing up.
There was about 60 people waiting for the elevator.
It's so sad. My wife comes home one day, she was crying, she was very emotional. She goes, I go like, what's happening, darling? She goes, one woman, a single mom with two kids, two beautiful kids, came to me saying, begging me, please, I've been applying 30 applications for 3 weeks. Next week, I will be out on the street. I'm getting 30 rejections. Help me getting a rental property. My wife ended up helping her, but that's one case. It's so many in the market. It's so sad. Skyrocketing cost of renting, seeing tenants become home buyers. Mortgage brokers are seeing an increase in the numbers of tenants moving to buy a home on the back of rapidly rising rental prices. Now, the rent is too high. Now, people started to think about buying again. Hopefully, it's not too late. No light at the end of the tunnel. That's from the Sydney Morning Herald. Rental vacancy rates hit record low. That's March. Very recent. What's the vacancy rate in Sydney? Record low. 0.9% vacancy rate in Sydney. 0.9%, let me explain to you what that means. If you own an investment property, 0.9% multiplied by 365 days per year, that's around 3 days. So on average, if you have a property, if you have an investment property, this property stays without a tenant only 3 days. Barely enough to clean up and find another tenant. It's crazy. And sometimes we sold some investment properties, settlement day, tenant moves in the next day, straight away. Real estate, the superior asset. Why Why real estate is a superior asset? Good growth potential, capital growth. We all know about the solid foundation of a property market in Sydney. Stable cash flow. It's a low risk. Leverage. I'll come into this later. Tax benefits. I will cover it in the next topic, or they refer to it as a negative gearing, and protect against inflation. They always say property and gold. If there's inflation, property and gold. Leverage. What does that mean? The power of leverage is crazy when it comes to property. Why? If I want to buy a property worth of $1 million, I only need 5% or 10%. Let's say 10%. 10% out of the 1 million is $100,000. I put $100,000. I'm able to borrow because it's a superior asset. The bank will lend me 90%. I put an investment out of my pocket, $100,000. On average, the property prices increase 7% in Sydney. So 7% on the 1 million, not on the $100,000. What is 7% out of 1 million? If someone can help me. $70,000. So $70,000 divided by $100,000, my initial investment, how much is that? 70%. Yes, it is 70%. I'm earning 70% of my investment. I ran 3 businesses before and I sold them. I'm lucky if I get 25% to 30% net income, but that's property, and it only gets better. Now I'm going to cover the property investors' tax benefits or negative gearing after Anna fixes my slides. She doesn't like the flickering of the screen.
I'm sorry because it's flash.
Yes.
It
was very annoying.
Yeah. Can you go to your flash? Because the flash is very annoying.
Yes.
How can I start my slides now, Anna?
And the computer.
Use control the file.
You're the IT engineer? Come up. Help. Yes.
Are you in IT?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, this is
Mac,
This
it's
is
Mac.
IAS.
Oh, here we go. Use a slideshow. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. You saved our life. Did you fix the flickering? You didn't fix the flickering. After the. What do you do in IT?
consultant.
Beautiful. I do some IT on the side. We'll have a talk. Property investors' tax benefits, negative gearing. What is that? What the hell is that? We always heard of negative gearing. We only have one person in the room who knows about negative gearing. Let me explain to you the concept. I always tell my clients 3 parties pay for your investment property. The tenant, the bank, because you borrow from the bank, and ATO. How? With tax deductions. I'll show you how. I'll run a simple example for you. Adam is a taxpayer who earns $100,000 per year. He just bought an investment property for $750,000 with a 5% deposit. The rental income in green, $550 per week, and that's $27,500 per year. The loan interest is 5% on 95% of the $750,000. So the loan is only 95% of the $750,000. It's $35,625 per year, and per week the interest is $685. The management fee strata rate, normally it's around 1% of the property price. Let's say it's $7,500, which is $145 per week. Now, Adam is at a loss of $15,625 per year loss. He's losing $280 per week. That's what you think. But the tax office, the ATO, would give them incentives, give you a refund. ATO wants to help property investors because we always had a rental crisis. We always had shortage of supply. Adam's salary is $100,000. Normally you pay, so you go on the tax calculator, you pay $24,997 on a $100,000 salary. And that's the net income that you get. So if I do the calculation with Adam having one investment property, ATO allows the deductions of the actual loss. If you remember, the actual loss is here from the other slide. Yep. 15,000. Is that even working? Okay. Sorry. So $15,000 paper loss, and that's called depreciation. The ATO allows you to deduct on the paper. This is an expense that you haven't paid out of your pocket or out of your bank account. It's only on the paper. ATO allows you to deduct depreciation. So when we sell a property, there's a third-party company normally that provides us with a depreciation schedule. I took an average of 12,000. Now, the maximum deductions you get on investment property is in the first 10 years. That's why we advise clients to buy a brand new property. You get the maximum deductions. So that's 12 years. So 12,000. Taxable income is less now because we deducted the expenses on the paper. The tax now is, Adam is paying $15,000 in tax versus 24. He will get $9,531 refund from ATO. Now you're happily giving your money to ATO, you're handing over your money to ATO if you don't have an investment property. Of course, they won't say nothing. They would be very happy. Now, let me put this into more perspective. So the rental income is $550 or yearly $27,500. The interest is $685 per week. The management fee is $145 per week. The weekly tax refund, which is now an income because the ATO gives you this refund per year, it's $9,531, which is around $183 per week. The net per week, so this minus this minus this plus this is this. Net per day, you're at a loss of $14 in the beginning. And this is very conservative numbers. So if you can afford to spare $14 per week in the beginning, until the rent goes up, things will get better. You can afford to buy an investment property. Now, it's only $14 per week versus without the depreciation, without the negative gearing, without the ATO incentives, it was much more. That's the concept of negative gearing. Any questions on negative gearing? I love questions. Yes, please.
It's beautiful when the interest rate is within affordability.
Yes.
In the last 10 months,
yes,
thanks to the beautiful Reserve Bank, it's been a much more challenging.
Yep.
So the net per day, when it started out quite nicely, beginning 10 months ago, today is much higher.
Very good question. Very good question. I'm going to cover it into a next topic. But the quick answer to this, when interest increases, rent increases, right? So your income increases. Because if the property is costing you more, then it takes time to catch up, plus the tax deductions. So this is the short answer. The long answer is coming in the next step. Yeah, I will cover that in a very more in depth. Interest rates impact. Yeah, interest rate impact on the property market. You're one step ahead. Very good. So we all heard about the interest rates and it's increasing and crazy. People going, oh, what's going on? Market is going to crash, blah, blah. I always hear this. Since 20 years, I hear this. Look what the experts say. I'm taking the big four banks' interest rates predictions to answer your question. That's the long answer. Westpac. Expecting the interest rate, cash rate to be 4.1% by May 2023, after a month or two, then drop to 2.35 in November 2025. I will answer this question in the next topic. If it's a good to wait or not good to wait, because if you wait, the prices will go up. You know this, right? Yeah. So we need to be aware of this. 3.85 by April, that's the Commonwealth Bank, and then it will drop to 2.85. Once the market hear that the interest rates will drop, property prices will go up. So you need to position yourself in the right time, when to buy. Not when it's too late, when everyone jumping on top of each other. We had this wave coming, and now there will be another one coming. ANZ, 4.10, and then it will drop to 3.85 by November 2024. Now, 4.1, it will drop to 2.85 in December. So all the four big banks expecting the interest rates to drop.
Sorry, on
by
what basis
2024.
did you get this information?
Sorry?
On which basis did you get this information? In November 2025, the interest rate will be...
The banks announced it. Thank you very much. That's my next slide. Here we go. So that's a Daily Mail article. Yeah. So they announced it. They announced it. I like it. That means we're on the same page, we're on the same frequency. Love it. When interest rate will fall 7 times, Westpac reveals forecast that will give hope to millions of mortgage holders and first home buyers. So all the banks announced this. Yeah. So I took this from here. So Westpac expects 7 rate cuts in 2024 and 2025, and they put their expectations here. The analysts see September quarter 2025 down to 2.35%. They announced it.
The Reserve Bank is going under major changes as we speak today, and most likely to flow.
Of course, they wanted, 100% agree with you. The Reserve Bank wanted to slow down the economy, not to crash the economy. Let's zoom out. Anna has a question. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you have 100,000, you pay the 25,000. The tax return is only for 9,000. You still have 15,000 in the ATO. So the interest go up, you get more claims from the existing tax.
Yeah. So it's on your side when you're an investor.
Yes.
It's not on your side when you're renting or paying.
True.
Yeah.
Without investing.
So what means is actually for people earn 100,000, if they're like a couple income pretty strong, in the tax for 25, like can run two invest property pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
You might get 4,000, 9,000, the other one still 15,000 there. But all the costs still claimed from the tax.
Yeah.
So when the interest go up, the rates go up, but still the gap is pretty big, but you get more tax return.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
That compensates.
No, that's,
Love this discussion. Love this discussion.
How about when the government says that they're going to get a clearing of the Labour government? They may not get rid of it.
They tried to do this. They cannot afford to do this. They tried to do this in 1990. Look what happened.
1985.
Yeah. Oh, where is this?
I know very detailed this one.
Yeah. So 1990.
The Labour Party abolished like negative gearing.
Oh, here we go.
These blind investors, you make money while you take tax back. So what's happening? Because the market actually for home buyer is always like a general. When investors are the drive force for the market. When investors come back to the market starts to grow. So because the negative gearing abolished in 1985, all the investors back off. There's no purchase capacity and then develop stock building. So there's no renting. The renting situation is not better than now. In 2 years' time, the rent increased 70%. So in 1987, the Labour have to introduce back the negative gearing. You know what's happened? All the investors come back, no property. And then the property increased more than double up to 1990. So in 2 years, rental increased 70%. Do you know the government put the people in the motel?
Wow.
And the public listing list increased like a 5, 6, 7 times. So now neither Labour or Liberal, they will not get touched this one because we are in a shortage. So next week you will actually to encourage investors to buy property, to supply for the government. Without investors, the property can be more expensive, the rent even more than that. So the investors actually will do good things for our community in a business model and help them.
CGT was introduced at that time as well.
Hmm?
CGT was introduced at that time as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Capital gains.
Yes, capital gain tax.
I knew about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will be the background for the next figure.
No, that's right. Anna worked in the parliament office, so she was in she's into the politics. No, but very very good question, Isa. Thank you very much for raising this up.
We try to say 1985, next figure, the video will come.
And just to extend what Anna was explaining, we are in a shortage, and I will cover this in upcoming slides. We are in a shortage, severe shortage in supply in Australia. We always been, and we will always be. The government needs to give incentives to investors, property investors, to buy properties because people need to rent from them. People need to. It's a necessity to have a roof over your head, like food and water. So the government needs to keep these incentives, either party, Liberal or Labour. Let's look at this interesting slide. I love it. So that's an analysis for interest rates from 1968 until 2020. What we noticed is there's some fluctuations. In 1990, interest rate was 18%, sorry. 2001, 8%. 2009, 9%, 2010, 6%, in 2020, 2%. Very exceptional because of COVID. That's it. But do we take this for granted? No. It's going to go up. It's normal to go up. It's going to sit at 4 to 5%. That's normal. That's what it should be.
But 18% is not normal as well.
That's not normal. But what happened? But what happened?
15 and 12 and 10 is not normal.
What happened when it was 1990 and 18%? The property prices, this is Sydney median property price, it kept going up. So what we learn from here, regardless of the interest rate fluctuations, the history, the general trend, it keeps going up. Yes, we go into dips, and we went into dip now. We are in a dip. We are actually almost recovering from a dip. But it doesn't crash. And I'll tell you why it doesn't crash. It's a demand and shortage of supply. I'm covering all of that. Over the last 40 years, Sydney property prices have increased by on average 7.25%, doubling every 10 years. House or apartment? I put this because so many people ask me this question. The Sydney median prices, and that's April 2023, the house is 1.2 mil, the apartment is $776,000. What does that tell me? If I look at the history, the gap between the median house price and unit price was very minimal. 5%, 10%, and then 15%, 20%. Now we're sitting at a gap almost 50%. It's double. There was a big jump during COVID, but we know why. Because students left the country, all temporary visa holders left the country, working holiday visa left, and that created less demand. And the price went down. Now we're expecting this gap to narrow and the apartment prices to catch up. I'm moving to my next topic. Best time to buy. People always ask me this question. When is the best time to buy, Joseph? Have we?
When you have the money, go ahead.
That's the perfect answer, actually. Have we reached the bottom of the market yet? It's an interesting question. Warren Buffett said, time in the market is better than timing the market. Time in the market is better than timing the market. And he's right. Look at this article from Financial Review. Sydney, Melbourne housing prices, housing markets have bottomed. And that's in April 11th. Few days ago. Yeah, I got very recent articles. Financial Review, the most leading financial newspaper, announcing that it is the bottom of the market. Look at the sources of their decision. CoreLogic, SQM Research, PropTrack, and RBC Capital Markets. They have all declared house prices have bottomed out in the two largest housing markets, Sydney and Melbourne. So it's not only Financial Review, they're relying on all of these research companies. Did you manage to get the power? Yeah, okay. Look at this crazy article as well, very recent. When was it? March the 30th, very recent. Exactly where will Australia's 650,000 new migrants live as the nation's housing crisis deepens with skyrocketing rents and locals being forced to live in tents? Treasury predicting 650,000 new migrants in the next 2 years. The Albanese government is planning for a total of 650,000 new migrants to settle here by mid-2024. Where the hell they're gonna live? but they're picking migrants with good money, because I'm meeting with the migrants that they come in new. But it's putting more pressure on the locals.
And if there's no places for them to stay,
And
the
developers
government will have to house them. So the government will have to pay. That's why they should encourage the investors.
So they encourage the investors by negative gearing. So it is in the government interest to give incentives to all investors. That's absolutely right.
Otherwise, they are responsible for housing for those migrants.
Not really.
Like,
No,
they will not leave them on the streets. They will
They're not
not leave.
responsible for that, but they bring in people who can afford.
Yeah.
no, they're bringing people who can afford. We're talking about skilled migration visas, not only refugees. Skilled migration visas. So people who have the money, who have the skill to contribute the economy. Now, Sydney became home to 29% of the new migrants. So yes, we have $650,000 in total in Australia, but remember, Sydney is taking the biggest portion of them. So Sydney is Sydney. Everyone wants to live in Sydney. The Urban Development Institute of Australia, UDIA, they produce a report every year about the supply and demand. The New South Wales Intergenerational Report estimated annual demand of 20,500 apartments per year. Are we meeting this demand? In 2023, how much? 9,000. 24, around also 9,500. 25, we're dropping to 4,000 units because all the smaller developers are getting out of the market now, and the building costs and all of the other issues. And the David Chandler, does anyone know David Chandler, the building commissioner of New South Wales? Is very strict now on the developers.
Is this part of the, sorry, is this part also the developers that have gone out of the market that failed in the last?
Part of it financially, part of it is the building commissioner of New South Wales. They're very strict now. That's why in Mega, there are restrictions. Yes, it costs more money to build now. So we work only with the largest developers, so we weren't impacted. In fact, David Chandler visited one of our sites being built by Westbourne Construction. He was very happy, and he gave 9 recommendations to 9 builders in New South Wales. Westbourne Construction was one of them, our builder. So, but others,
Is he a local builder?
Australian builder, 45 years experience in residential, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. So cumulative unmet demand in apartments to have extended to 48,000 heading to 22-23 financial year. Under supply could be around 59,700 by 2025. I'll get rid of this for you. Can we see the shortage of supply? The crazy shortage of supply?
Why is that? Why is there a shortage?
There's so many factors. First of all, regulations. If I'm a developer, I go and acquire a big acreage land. I want to develop 5 acres, 10 acres. It takes me in council around 5 years to 10 years to get the DA approval. And that's because I need to do the infrastructure, the sewer, the electricity, the substations, the blah, 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 blah. It takes 5 years, if I'm lucky. And if I'm normal, 7 years to 10 years. That's one thing. Sorry. So the other thing is lots of builders went out of the market during COVID. The other thing is the New South Wales Building Commissioner putting more restrictions on the smaller developers. Now only the bigger players in the market are playing this game.
But it's going to be a monopoly now, if this is the case.
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, yes. It's not going to be an easy competition with the smaller players in the market in the building. And yeah, you're right.
It's all about quality of construction.
But yeah, we get to quality, but we get monopoly. Prices go up. Prices go up. So
But the quality is true. I mean, some apartments are just like boxes.
it depends.
The wall is this thick.
It depends. Now we have very strict codes in Australia. Now, how houses boomed, apartments ready to boom. This is the property cycle in Australia. We are around here. Rental increases, so we see rental increases recently, low rental vacancies. So I think we're around. There's no specific timing for this cycle, but it happens from time to time. And happens sometimes in different orders. But we're here. We're around the recovery on the way to boom. Oh, come back, my favorite guy. Who knows this guy?
Yes, Joseph.
Yes.
Still didn't boom at the moment. Hey.
Huh?
So at the moment, we didn't boom yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Prices are going to go high.
Definitely. Yeah. That's what I think. Yeah.
I'll talk about that.
Warren Buffett once said, "Be fearful when others are greedy." To answer your question, Tina, and greedy only when others are fearful. So others are fearful now. So, and this guy is a billionaire. The next topic, top 3 booming suburbs. Sydney population growth. There's currently around 5 million of us. We will be 6.1 by 2041. Aging population. Increase in population over 65 is 139%. Baby boomers. Have anyone heard of baby boomers in Australia? So now the aging. What happens in this when we talk about macroeconomy? The government needs younger generation to support the retirement of those elderly people. How can they solve this? Migration. Again, demand, more demand on property. Where they're gonna live, I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I might know. Annual population, New South Wales average is 1.2%, 1.26%. City of Sydney is very low, 1%. Woollahra, 0.2%, not much growth. We see very big growth in the Hills Shire. Here, Northwest. Camden, 5.52%, where the new airport is going to be constructed.
Where?
Camden, where the new Western Sydney International Airport is getting constructed. It's finishing construction next year. Yeah. So I went to the site, I went to the construction site, and there's an airport experience center. Very nice, very interesting. You want to take the kids there, it's nice. So they say next year it will open, 1 year commissioning. So there will be cargo flights only, just testing the equipment and the landing gear. And after 1 year, it will be open for commercial flights.
What's happening to the existing?
It will stay in operation.
So we'll have 2 airports.
We'll have 2 airports.
So one will close at 4.
What about Wednesday?
10 p.m. It closes at 10 p.m. The current one closes at 10 p.m. 10 to 6.
So why is an international airport then?
So the new one will operate 24/7.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you live on the North Shore, it will take you 3 hours to get there.
And then you go to the normal airport until they build another airport there.
Internally flying.
We talked about the factors that contribute to the population growth and we talked also about the infrastructure. Wherever there is infrastructure spending by the government, the area or the suburb goes up in value more than the other suburbs. The largest transport infrastructure project in Australia currently is Sydney Metro. Have we heard of Sydney Metro? $63 billion rail project. It's the largest in the world. They already constructed this leg from Tallawong to Chatswood. The cost is 7.3 billion. Next year, they're going to open, they already started construction, they're going to open from Chatswood to the city. That's $18.5 billion. I call it government co-funding our investment. So if you buy a property along this line, the government is contributing to the value of your property.
Chatswood to Bankstown, not the city, not just the city, but Bankstown.
Through the city and then Bankstown, yeah, through all the way. And they're opening from St. Mary's to Western Sydney Airport, opening 2026. Yeah. So this is the larger picture. So our projects follow infrastructure. So wherever you see here these little houses, we have projects there. Yeah. Now from Tallawong to Chatswood, now we need to change in Chatswood to the normal train and we go to the city. Next year, what's going to happen? Only one train ride from Tallawong, Rouse Hill to the city. It will take only 45 minutes from Tallawong to the city.
Wow.
The frequency of service is driverless metro. The frequency of service every 4 minutes. It's from Tallawong, Rouse Hill to the city. So what happens after that opens? All the people who work in the city, who work in Chatswood, Macquarie Park, Epping, like they can't afford here the outprice, they will go and move here because it's a very easy ride. So I'm expecting those suburbs to boom. Rouse Hill, Tallawong, those suburbs, Chatswood, Castle Hill, this area. Because those areas are now not very affordable.
Yeah.
If you get kicked out, then out of affordability, obviously you move here. I'm expecting also this area here around Western Sydney International Airport. So we get the Western Sydney International Airport. We have 2 metro terminals in the airport. Yeah.
Another mascot down there.
Another mascot, yeah. Exactly. So they're building. No, you're right. It's an urban planning. I've seen it in other cities around the world. We've seen it in Egypt. We've seen it in Paris. We've seen it in other cities. So when the city becomes too crowded, like our CBD, yes, we have the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge here. It will come like the touristy CBD. But then the only solution is not to keep building tunnels and tolls crazy. It costs me like $15, $20 every time I go on tolls, maybe more. Yeah. So exactly. So move the city to 50 kilometers away and build another CBD here, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're building another CBD here. They're calling it Areatropolis. High-rise buildings, banks, insurance companies, university, research centers, blah, blah. Now, next to this city, there's another town called Oran Park. Anyone heard of Oran Park? Yeah. So I love Oran Park.
Not anymore.
Nothing is cheap. It's affordable. It's more affordable. It's more affordable. So Oran Park and Catherine Field, this area is also a good suburb.
Last question.
Of course, yes.
You're talking about people moving out of the CBD.
Mm-hmm.
That's pre-COVID.
Hmm?
Pre-COVID.
Yes.
People are all businesses are in the CBD.
Yes.
But now half of the CBD is empty.
True. What
are plans for? Do you have any inside information? What is happening to all these mega high-rises that are half of them empty? And more unlikely, we're going to go back to pre-COVID of working 5 days a week in the city.
Yeah. So the government long-term plan is to divide the what they call it, the biggest Sydney into 3 cities. So this is going to be one city with its CBD is the current CBD, Parramatta being the other CBD, and Areatropolis being the 3rd CBD. Castle Hill is going to be like another smaller CBD, almost, if you know Castle Hill. Limited developable land. What does that mean? Sydney is unique because people ask me, Melbourne, Brisbane. In Sydney, we have a unique situation. We can only develop and build in this area. On the east side, we have the ocean. We cannot build unless we have the Palm Island like Dubai. But that's crazy investment. We're not going to do it because we're more logical. Exactly. On the south side, we have the Royal National Park, Blue Mountains, and the national parks on the north as well. By law, we cannot destroy a national park to build. We cannot. So the only way is to develop here, and the only way is to go vertical, build more apartments. And the Prime Minister said that people need to get used to adjust on living in smaller spaces.
They can't live in a very advanced city like Sydney, and they want to live like country.
True.
You can't have both.
You are 100% right. Compare Sydney to New York, to London,
Yeah, that's true.
to Paris. Yeah.
But the problem is the current development, the current properties that exist, they're not long-term living. The decent units that exist are not long-term living. They're small, they are tiny, and you can't have a family growing in places like Chatsworth where the properties are 65 square meters.
Yes. So
That's unacceptable. You can't have that.
So now, to have your dream home in Sydney, you need to do it in steps. You can't buy your dream home from the first step. You build whatever you buy, but the most important thing is you buy whatever you can afford now. Build equity. That means just wait for the prices to go up. Either sell and buy another property, or even better, I teach you how you can draw the equity and withdraw the equity and buy another property that you dream of. But the most important thing is the time in the market. Get in as soon as possible. The earlier you get in, the more equity that you can accumulate. First home buyers grants guide. Who's the first home buyer? Yeah, 2, 3 of us. 3 of us. I'll cover this quickly. We have a few government grants, and that's because of COVID. They weren't there. So I don't know how long this is going to last. New South Wales first home buyer stamp duty discount or a waiver. Stamp duty exemption for homes valued up to $650,000. If you buy a property up to $650,000, you pay 0 stamp duty. A discount for homes valued $650,000 to $800,000. That's going to change in 1st of July. I'm going to cover that in my next seminar. You must be
Does it have to be new or no?
It doesn't need to be new. Must be an Australian citizen or permanent resident. You need to live in the property for 6 months. New South Wales first home buyer stamp duty choice until 30th of June 2023. So for those who are interested in this scheme, you have only a couple of months left to buy it. Choice of making an upfront stamp duty payment or an annual property tax when purchasing a property up to 1.5 mil, both owner-occupier and investment properties. Australian citizen and permanent residents, you need to live in the property for 6 months.
Was that always the case? They only keep it a short-term initiative, or
No,
decided to phase it out?
the new government, when the Labour won, they decided to phase it out. Yes.
The property tax was something that was introduced by Heritage just yet.
Yes.
It was rejected.
Yeah, now they changed their mind. So you have, if you're interested in this scheme, you have a couple of months, and you pay very, very little per year if you.
Yeah, but only should you pay forever.
You pay forever, yeah. But then you sell.
And no buyer buys it forever. And it's a tax that exists on the property.
But if the buyer buys it later, it's not your problem. They pay their own stamp duty.
If there's a property tax on that property,
Yeah.
the buyer who buys it continues paying that property tax.
No. They pay stamp duty, their normal stamp duty, because they're not first home buyers, unless they are first home buyers before the 30th of June. Yeah. New South Wales first home owner grant, $10,000 a grant for new homes up to $600,000, and house and land packages up to $750,000. You need to be Australian citizen or permanent resident, live in the property for 6 months. Federal government first home loan deposit scheme. You can pay very minimal deposit, 2% to 5%, and you get the LMI waiver, lender mortgage insurance waiver. The Australian government will guarantee the loan. You need to be earning up to $125,000 for individuals or $200,000 for combined income for couples. Showing as your notice of assessment for the last financial year. Yeah, so be careful for the last financial year. And you need to be intending to be owner-occupier of the property.
Was that from 1st of July?
It was before. It was before, yeah. Rent and invest strategy. Rent vesting. What is rent vesting?
Renting in a place where you expect to buy.
What is it?
Renting in a place where you expect to buy.
Yep, yeah.
To buy.
Yeah. What do you think? Any other thoughts? So in a nutshell, buy in an area with a high growth and where you can afford to buy, and live in an area where you love to live, like close to schools, close to the beach, close to restaurants. I love to live in Manly or Coogee. Yes, you can rent there because the rental yield there is less, and then buy in a booming suburb. And that way you're smart, you accumulate equity faster, plus you get tax deductions because it's an investment property. While if you live in the property, you cannot claim tax deductions. It works better for you. So rent and invest is a big concept. If you cannot afford to buy, that's fine. Isolate the emotional factor. Buy in an area where it's smart to buy, high capital growth area, infrastructure spending by the government. We have some fireworks there. Celebrating the rent and investing.
So you put this one on.
You should have asked for entrance fees with entertainment.
Huh? It's not New Year. I don't know what's today. What's special today? I must tell. Actually, it's my birthday today. Thank you. But that's not why the fireworks are there.
Are you sure?
Well, we come here to the office on the New Year Eve.
Birthday gift is 1 million assets.
It is actually my birthday. So that's the rent and invest. Who has any questions about this idea? And who thinks this idea is great, or who thinks this idea is not great?
Can I give an example for?
Please, yes.
Yeah. I've been winning the interest for 10 years. And in 2020, I have like a YouTube one. In 2030, in Northmead, a one bedroom, 390. I'm a single mom with a son, and she has only 5%. Like he has 10%, 30,000. A single mom with a 30,000. The Chinese family in China to fund her another 10%. So she put 20% about the property in 2013 and finished in 2015. But up to now, in North Lead, a one bedroom, minimum up to 500. And when the high time comes, it could be 550. So what it means is the single mom utilize a very limited deposit for the proceeds with the capital growth. So she actually told me, now, Anna, I have equity here. My son grew up. I can use some of the equity to facilitate my son to be an investor. But what we can do with the 30,000 now really can't do much. Yeah. And in 2020, I have a couple. Husband, the IT engineer, wife is a nurse in Princess Hospital and in city. They have 3 children, renting in Ashfield for 13 years. The rent is 750. But I only have 35,000 deposit. So in 2020, before the COVID, I said, Manny, we can't keep renting anymore. We need to buy something you can afford. So we bought a townhouse in Austria. It was 690,000 with a 5% deposit. So when 2021 April the property settled, it's already worth 750. Last year we did the evaluation. The property is 900,000 now. So Manny with the wife use 35,000 deposit, up to now earn more than 200,000 equity. Now they rent it out, it's 700 per week renting. So what we mean is they still live in city because the children in school, they work in the school, but we as a tenant in city, we support the developer, whoever the owner, the landlord, they do their equity. But we have a property for moving area.
If you want.
Landlord, owner of the 70% tenants. So after another 20, 30 years later, you see in the young generation can not think to buy any property. They just rent, keep renting. So in that situation today, buying a property is not buying a property, it's a division line. Whether we are going to have an equity build up for the family to be a landlord, or we keep renting, capacity go down to become generation by generation tenants. So that's how invest property is so important for everybody. Just share two examples. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much.
Investing in Russell Island in Queensland.
Sorry?
Russell Island in Queensland.
That was the Sydney.
Home and
Go
land.
that far.
Home and land for 420.
Let's book a consultation, and I will go through that with you privately. Supply and demand. Remember supply and demand. But I'm happy to go through with the individual cases on a consultation. If you want to book me for a consultation, please feel free. You can. This is my contact details. You scan this barcode, it goes to your iPhone as a contact. I'm very active on social media, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and Oz Arab media and everywhere. Yeah, so feel free to send me an email, or this is my mobile number. If you have any question, I'm happy to answer. Now, do you have any questions first before we go to the next step? Yes, please.
Shared equity.
Yeah.
Have you been made aware of?
Yes. 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 There are pros and cons. Also, I can discuss this with you it's very individual, case by case. So I can discuss this with you later. You have a question? Yeah. Yes, Joseph.
We were talking earlier about, for example, the cost of the two-bedroom apartment for rent last year, about $800 a week.
Yeah.
What do you know the most common suburbs where you might find these queues for apartments this price?
It's mainly around the city: Rosebery, Zetland, Waterloo, the city, all the crowded suburbs. Crazy. Yeah. No problem. Did everyone scan the QR code on the tables and went into the survey? So because we're going to do the draw now, I'm going to hand over some prizes. The Google Nest Hub Generation 2, I think valued at $135, giving you this away for free. A bottle of wine, and free, they put some other nice freebies there.
Are they going to be eligible for it?
So Tina is helping us with getting the names in. Did everyone scan the code and enter the? Yeah, beautiful.
End of the presentation.
Yeah, that's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much.